Good morning and welcome to the Paulding County Industrial Building Authority for our March 16th, 2016 meeting. Boyd is unable to be here and I will be taking his place. We all received the minutes for the January 20th meeting, and I'm asking for an approval for January 20th, 2016 meeting minutes.
Make a motion.
I don't know since you were not here.
Oh,
So,
can't do that with.
so
I make motion to approve.
Teresa. I was. Can I make?
You can second.
Okay, I second. Motion carried. Any discussion? All in favor?
Two, you got 3 abstentions. You want to motion. That's 2-0, that's fine. 3 abstentions. To approve.
Got that? Okay, the next item, number 3, is approval of financials. You all received those via email. Does anybody have any questions regarding the financials?
And I probably will get the same answer that Ellis did about the land on Old Mill, why it's still showing up on here. Is it?
It's got to come off, but we haven't taken it off because we don't have the adjustment in the auditor yet.
Okay. So you'll put an asterisk? Okay.
Do the same thing with these that we do with the airport.
And the infrastructure B and infrastructure other, what is that, Blake? It falls right under the land on Old Mill.
What line item number is it?
It's 1750 and 1750. It's just got infrastructure B and infrastructure other
Right.
for 186,180.
Those are typically construction that's in process. I don't know, Chuck, if you know off the top of your head what those are, but they're normally construction in process. Yeah, I will get Chuck to run a query on those and send it to you, but generally that is normally construction in process whenever we're doing any type of infrastructure, whether it's a lift station or whatever it may be, it goes in there.
What is the, under line item 1500, what is that 5,000 earnest money? What is that on, Blake?
That was property that we acquired, and that's another one of those items that
Needs
should
to
come
come
off
out,
because we've
okay.
already acquired the property, so the earnest money is no longer outstanding. The earnest money has already been taken as part of the purchase, but it does need to come off when we get our audit.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Well, wait a minute, I do have one other. Long-term liabilities, this line item 1902, deferred outflow, loss on revenue, what is that about? Like just for my own.
Chuck, do you see what she's asking about,
Loss on
1902?
revenue.
That's another part of the journal entries that were done by the auditor, Lawrence Beavers, during their audit. It's not an account that I've done anything with, it's where they put the money in there and I have to look and see what it's for.
The fact that it's a long-term liability means it has something to do with the bond account, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head which bond account.
Okay.
It may have been a refinance, but Chuck would have to look up, you'll have to find the auditor's notes in order to be able to tell you.
Thank you.
Teresa, any more? No. Any other questions? Do I have a motion to approve the financial reports? as
I'll make that
presented?
motion with the asterisk of the notation.
Second?
I'll second.
Motion carried. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. There's no report from the Paulding Chamber today. Robert Reynolds, I think he's here. Would you give us a report on the Paulding County Economic Development?
You might have to thank. You can see me hiding back here. I'm still continuing to work with some projects that I've mentioned here before, and I know Blake had to slip out last month. Blake gave a report on some of those, from what I understand. There's a couple of, putting some fires out, visiting with some local industry, with the sewer extending to Dallas Mill work, for example, like that, and tying up some loose ends, some projects like that. Got a meeting trying to get scheduled enrolled and things like that. It's just a lot of small projects that we're not really doing. But one of the things that we really want to focus on is our existing business. So anything we can do to help the folks that are here already be successful, we certainly want to continue to do that, obviously. The county just recently approved a new economic development study as part of the county comprehensive plan with strategic planning. And that consultant will probably be reaching out to a lot of you in the not too distant future to just get, as they do their background and their thoughts of the direction of the county, where we've been, where we're heading, things like that. So please just ask you if you take a few minutes, if you're contacted by that group, to give your insight and input about the direction of the county economic development programs and things like that. So we're excited about that study. It was a unanimous decision to pick that group from the people that looked at all those RFPs that were submitted. There were 21, which is great, but it's an outstanding response. And really one kind of rose to the top, and we're excited about that and looking forward to working with them to establish a baseline where we are, a lot of data and figures and numbers there, and then plotting some direction to where we go in the future. We're really excited about that. So thank you for your support and continuing to work with the IBA on the projects that are all working on.
I just wanted to ask you, so we're pretty close to having sewer for Dallas Mill Works then?
Looks like it should be late summer, early fall,
Okay.
when they're actually able to hook on it.
So
They're
we're
doing some
working out
easement work right
construction.
now. They've had to reroute, redesign the route. But Lori and I, we were up there, I guess about a week and a half ago. They're excited. There's progress, if
Yeah.
you will. They're not turning dirt yet, but there's some deadlines and dates and things
So
like that.
the reason I asked Robert is I needed to go down there and I didn't want to go unless, you know, when I headed to you.
It'd be a good time because we just met with them.
Good,
And
okay,
they're
I
excited,
got
and a great company. It's the first time I got to tour the
Yes,
facility.
they are.
And some of the things that they're doing are really, they do some fabulous work, and they really do, so.
Well, I'm
And-
glad,
and
yeah.
Companies like that that are small, that they, pay good wages, have great employees, that's the bread and butter of the community, it really is. So we're delighted that we and everybody's able to help get them what they need as far as.
Robert, that was a grant plus the Industrial Building Authority put money in.
The EDO put money in, and there was a grant, that's right. So it's a project with a lot of different funding sources to keep them here. They literally can't continue operating as they are. So it's almost a no-brainer. We've got to help them keep here, or they're going to close. I mean, they can't continue to operate as they're operating.
But they're not in the city, correct?
Yeah, they're in the city.
They are in the city?
Yeah. So I appreciate y'all since we were able to get the grant. You know, that I appreciate y'all moving forward now because they are a good company.
They are.
And, but you know, Robert, I've always wondered about that because that industrial park right behind them, that nothing is in there yet, that has sewer. How come they couldn't hook on from that industrial park?
You talking about the other side of the railroad?
Well, it's just kind of right behind them. I mean,
Like you may be, I don't know exactly. I'm learning, but I don't know where all the sewer
I
lines
think
are
the
yet.
Harris boys.
Yeah, it
I mean,
has
it's
to do
just
with the
right there
elevation,
behind it.
elevation of the sewer.
Okay, that's why they couldn't.
They'd
Okay.
have to put a big pump station in and pump it over there, which would be a whole lot more expensive than the route we're going. I think the final call system was 150 or
Just over 100, yeah, 100. It's got to be bid, so we don't have a final number yet.
Right.
Okay.
a lift
Chairman
station
said
would
grant
cost
money
$4
was
million
good.
just for the lift station, then you'd still have to put in enforcement and all of that, so it needs to be 3 or 4 times as expensive.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. We've just been through that, yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Robert.
Thank you. Thanks, Robert.
Next item on the agenda is the report from the executive director, Blake Sparks.
All right, we'll start with the Atlanta Film Studio. I think everybody knows we do have a feature film that's in the studio now. They are finishing up with construction of sets, and we'll start filming actually in April. So if you've been by there lately, the parking lot is slammed packed full of cars. They contacted me last week, said they needed a location off-site to park an additional 300 cars in addition to what they've already got parked there. So, I contacted many of you and asked you for any ideas, thoughts that you had on places to park, and we were able to get together a list of about 8 different locations where they could potentially park those cars, and have gotten it to them. So they're reaching out to those companies and businesses and individuals to work on getting their parking arrangements set up so they'll have enough parking to accommodate all of their extras that they need. Some other good news on the film studio. We have another film that we have executed a contract with that will come in right behind the film that's in there now. So the folks that are in there now, they'll be finishing up the first week of June, and Epic Films will be coming in the second week of June, and they'll be there through the end of October. So that gives us 10 consecutive months of being fully booked. And that's the longest consecutive booking that we've had at the film studio since we opened in 2011. So doing very, very well right now. If it keeps up that clip, I'll be very happy. But talked also with folks from Epic Films about some locations that they need for some shots. So I'll probably reach out to a couple of you this week to get some ideas from you on locations that they need for some of their off-site shots. Moving on to the Paulding Commerce Park, just want to let you know that we had some conversations with the County DOT over the last couple of weeks. The roadway work that's taking place on Bill Caruth Parkway, the widening out through there, they needed some dirt. So they reached out to us to see if there was a location in the Paulding Commerce Park where we might be able to spare some dirt. We gave them a couple of locations to look at. They went out and did some tests on that dirt, and they don't think that that's going to be able to work for what they need. So we know that dirt out there in that Commerce Park has a lot of rock in it, so that's probably most likely the issue that they have is the amount of rock that's in the dirt. So I think now they're looking somewhere else. If they get too desperate, they'll probably come back to us, but in the meantime, I think they're going to find that somewhere else. And then the last thing I have on here is the Dallas Industrial Park sewer lift station. Seems like we've been talking about the sewer lift station for a really, really, really long time. The final inspection on that lift station is scheduled for the beginning of April, first week of April. We had 2 issues with that lift station that took a really long time to resolve. One of them was a vibration in the pump that I think just finally cleared up. I don't know that we actually understand why it finally cleared up, but it did finally cleared up. The other had to do with the suction, the intake of the pump. I'm not a sewer engineer, I'm not going to try to explain it, but it's resolved. That's the biggest thing that we need to know, and hopefully we'll get that sewer lift station accepted by the city of Dallas here in the next couple of weeks.
We had a great dedication out there. The sheriff's training facility is awesome, and the shooting range has been open for quite a while, and these guys are so happy because they talk about how they used to go to it's over there on right off of DC 6. I forget the hut, what they call that, the no, it was JC Hut, and they had a line they strung across there, and they jim clipped, and they shot into a bank and that type of thing, and so they just said this is fabulous. They just think they've died and gone to heaven, and the old guys that trained the old way are a bit jealous, but the new breed coming in will get exceptional training. So Gary's happy with the training center and the shooting range.
And we do still have some work to do with them on that location, in that part of that park, the sewer line for part of that park actually comes through their training facility, and they know that, they're aware of it. So at some point in time in the future, whenever we build out that park, there'll be some additional work that'll be done through that site in order to make sure that the sewer connects correctly through there. But it's something that they're aware of, we're aware of, and we'll just deal with it in the future whenever we have a tenant and a need to go ahead and connect that sewer good.
Any other comments? The next item on the agenda is to discuss the appointment to the Paulding County Economic Development Organization Board.
I'm going to talk about these next two kind of together.
Yeah.
We have two vacancies in board appointments that the Industrial Building Authority has a seat. One of those is on the Paulding County Economic Development Organization Board. The other is on the Greater West Georgia Joint Development Authority Board. We have maintained someone on both of those boards from the EDO ever since its inception, and the Greater West Georgia Joint Development Authority ever since we joined that organization, I guess going back 6 or 7 years ago now. So Alan Shipp had previously served as our representative on both of those boards. So obviously he's no longer with us, so we need to make some placements. I sat down and spoke with Robert yesterday about some of our Industrial Building Authority and Airport Authority business, and Robert has expressed an interest in the Greater West Georgia Joint Development Authority, which meets over in Carrollton. So I think he has tentatively agreed to serve in that position. But we do still need to fill the EDO board seat as well, and I'm not going to push Terry into anything since he's sitting close enough to hit me, but if we could get a volunteer for that, I'd be very happy. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Do we need to make a motion?
Yes.
I make that motion for both of them, several of those
Okay.
boards.
Any discussion?
I think you got to do them separately.
Second. We need to do them second.
I make a motion for Robert to be on the Greater West Georgia Joint Development.
Okay. Any second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carried. And the second one would be the Paulding County Economic Development Board appointment. Do I have a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I have concern that again, we're these boards, and Terry, I swear this is no offense to you at all, but again, we have these boards and it's just the same people that we're putting on, boards. That's my concern, and like I said, it has nothing to do with Mr. Tibbetts whatsoever,
But we are limited to, it's an appointment that serves on this board
Is this-
From the IBA.
from the IDA.
it has to be on from the IBA. Oh, I'm sorry, then there you go. Okay, I second it.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. The next item on the agenda is executive session. Can anyone make a motion?
So you
to-
have authorized chairman. Number 7.
Oh, number 7, excuse me. Oh, I looked at the old one. Authorized chairman to execute letter of intent for underwriting services with Raymond James.
Yeah, I'm going to allow our legal to explain that.
Several years ago, the Industrial Building Authority issued bonds in conjunction with an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Dallas. I think it was for sewer line extension
That's
in the
correct.
city of Dallas. They simply they've been approached by their financial people and told them they have an opportunity to refund or refinance those bonds at a lower interest rate. And so they're wanting to explore that. This is a preliminary matter. It would eventually come back to the Industrial Building Authority as a new resolution. But it's basically just to try to refund those bonds so that they can get them at a lower interest rate. What this would be doing is just being authorizing the chairman of the IBA to execute a letter of intent with Raymond James, which is our financial advisor on it, to just get started on the project. Ultimately, if you decided to do it, it would be a bond resolution that would have to be passed by this body.
The city believes they can save about $250,000 over the life of the bond by refinancing them, so it's just a cost saving.
We refinanced some county bonds the same way.
Right.
Save hundreds of thousands of dollars, so it's a good move.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? Motion, all in favor? So moved. The next item is to go into executive session to discuss real estate.
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
So we need to change our agenda.
Yes, it's not litigation, it's real estate. you have a second?
Second.
Motion carries.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
First.
I make a motion needed to reconvene.
Somebody?
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No action was taken in the executive session, and so I make a motion, entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.